Dyke with us, Van Dyke Laser and Skin. That's the name of her practice in Phoenix. Scottsdale, to be more specific, tying in, we were just talking to Wayne about losing weight, quitting smoking, all the resolutions. Weight being probably the #1, it ranks. We all do it, we all say it, we all eat too much over the, I mean, it's just a given.
Well,
and it all goes here, here, and here.
What happens
Never
when,
here.
when you're eating right and you're exercising, and here's the big thing, the postmenopausal woman, this little pooch thing.
Oh, God.
I mean, what about the beer belly guy?
Well,
that correlates with it.
What do we call that? The menopausal?
Yeah.
And
yeah, and beer.
Right, they get this little pooch here, and I see endless women who are in good shape and they're doing everything right. So this is not about weight loss or instant, easy way out. This is about, I'm in good shape, and okay, here's something maybe you won't relate to, Lou, but some of the ladies will.
Oh yeah, this.
The dreaded bra fat.
Oh, I know. I don't have any of that.
Or try to get rid of this.
It's probably there. It's there, but not putting a bra on. It doesn't squish it in one.
But I haven't performed.
And here, love handles. Men have love handles. You know what they call it in women?
What?
Muffin tops.
Really?
We have pastry, you have love. I don't get that part.
I don't understand.
But when it comes down to exercise, you can't attack these areas. So what can you do?
Why does that all add as we get older? I mean, this wasn't here when I was 19 years old.
No.
And 20. It just didn't exist.
It is somewhat hormonal, but I'll tell you, I see some very fit young people who come in and you look at them in their clothes, they look great. Little pooch right under the belly button. In fact, we had a son's basketball player in the other day. Nobody's better shape than this gentleman. Little pooch right under his belly.
But doctor, isn't some of this hereditary? Because my dad had love handles, and I inherited those little
heredity and hormones and all that. So now here's the question: is what are you going to do about it? I mean, we can't sit and moan and groan about this.
But now, before we talk about what we're going to do with it, when you said hereditary, each of us, the way we're built, we have places in the body where we carry more fat.
Sure, and women carry it in different places than men.
Right. Some people carry more fat in their face. I mean, they can get really skinny in their body. They still have a nice face.
Sure.
Other people, it's the opposite, and that's when it ages us. We get our body where we want. We've lost it in the face, and oh, voila.
Well, you know what? As you get older, everything seems to go south.
No, it goes down
You lose the fat here, and it ends up down here.
We want that baby fat. If we can just keep that baby fat in our face.
So what one really smart scientist at Harvard figured out a few years ago is that you can attack pockets of fat and not affect the rest of the body. And so if you can think about a pound of butter. A pound of butter is basically fat, right? And it sits at room temperature and it's solid. But water is not.
There's a pound of butter each place there.
Basically, if you can freeze fat easier than you can freeze water. And if you can freeze fat, you can kill fat. And they figured this out where little children used to suck on popsicles, and they would go into the doctor and they'd have an area that was kind of swollen on their cheek, and then after a couple of months it would get thin and they'd get a dimple.
So you're saying we can freeze that, but then where does it go?
Well, when you freeze it, what happens is you lower the temperature not to freezing, but above freezing, where fat freezes, not water. So we're talking about freezing differently. And you hold it at that temperature for an hour. It'll kill about 20 to 25% of the cells in that area. And then over the next 2 or 3 months, the body comes around and scavenges those cells that have been killed and removes them slowly.
So you eliminate them through the body.
Slowly, though. 3 to 4 months of removing those dead cells. So it's not like something as abrupt or invasive as, say, liposuction, where we're taking a cannula, a tube, sticking it in there and sucking it out in one day. What we're doing is we're sucking that into, it's like a big suction cup, and it just pulls that in, or bra fat. It just pulls this in.
And how long a process is this, doctor?
It takes an hour.
Wow.
So you just sit there with this little kind of thing stuck to your back. We have this great room where they watch television. It doesn't hurt.
But now, so that would be, we could do it with those ice packs that people have for injuries. Here's the key, you have to get it to the right temperature for the precise amount of time. So someone once asked me, well, can't I just go outside when it's 20 degrees out? Well, yes, except your core temperature will drop and your whole body will get, the key is to focus. The sections.
And to get it exactly the right temperature, which is somewhere around 33 degrees Fahrenheit, and to hold it there long enough. Now, there's a lot more to it, actually. This is a big, expensive machine.
Right, exactly.
And it gets that fat using suction, so it pulls it between two little plates. It doesn't hurt, it just feels like a pulling sensation, but in the suction you're actually pulling the tissue closer to the cold, and you're removing some of the blood from it, so it's not warming up. So it's a little more complicated than just putting an ice pack on.
Ice pack on your back, yeah.
So if you do have the love handles,
Yes.
how long would it take to remove both sides?
1
On
hour.
yours, probably 5 years.
Probably. I'm thinking it's a
1
long
hour.
time.
1 hour.
That's it?
Yeah,
But
and
now-
for 20 to 25% reduction.
You're asking how many treatments, aren't you?
Yeah.
One treatment for 20 to 25% reduction. Now, say you want 50% reduction.
Okay.
2 treatments.
But if you have an area, I mean, some love handles are bigger than others.
Yes, well, we have different size hand pieces that they're made to just about fit a love handle or a bra fat perfectly, and then there's a large one that will fit that little pooch under here. Other areas you can do, arm fat. Women hate arm fat.
Oh,
right?
yes, that's the worst.
And inner thigh is another area that works really well with this.
Really?
So diet, exercise, but when you have those areas that you cannot get rid of, no matter what you do, CoolSculpting is really a really interesting concept, and it's a great.
But now let's talk about the arm and the inner thigh that you were talking about. Now, because here it wouldn't be as crucial. When the fat's gone, I mean, you can tone, but does it tone also? Because if you're going to deal on the upper arm, if you get rid of the fat, you may have exacerbated your problem. More skin will hang.
So diet and exercise are still important. Now, you bring up a really good point that CoolSculpting or removing fat is not going to tighten skin. So there are other procedures that are non-invasive. One is called Thermage, which is about tightening skin. So sometimes we'll combine the 2 procedures together. Now, in younger people, you don't have the problem. It's in the older person where you have the excess skin
Now,
that you
Doctor,
have to tighten.
you said love handles, but does that include the belly area? The
Anywhere
stomach
you can pinch an inch. If I can grab onto you and hold onto it, it'll work.
It'll work, okay.
Yep.
So now when you're talking to Thermage, you jump to that. So basically what we're saying here is cold freezes fat.
Yes.
And shrinks something, the fat's gone.
Yes.
I'm very elementary in my terms
Yes.
here. Okay. Thermage is the heat. That puffs things up.
Thermage is different, and now we're focusing on the skin itself, not the fat underneath the skin, but that top layer of skin. And your skin is made out of collagen, which is a protein. Like, think of leather of your skin.
Right.
So if you take protein, say a wool sweater, and throw it in the dryer, what happens?
Shrinks.
It shrinks. So skin is the same way. If you get it to exactly the right temperature, which is around, it's probably 60 degrees centigrade, you will get the shrinkage, and then that will stimulate your body to make more collagen over the next few months. So again, it's a 2 or 3 month thing with one treatment.
So that would puff you?
It doesn't puff you, it shrink wraps you.
Okay.
Yeah, so
without saran wrap.
So it makes more
so
collagen.
think of the saran wrap and the hair dryer.
So you're tighter.
Exactly. Yes.
So, okay,
Yes.
Dr. Van Dyke will stay with us for one more segment. When we come back, more on how we can be beautiful in 2012, which is a great resolution.
Yeah, it is indeed. We'll be right back.
Back after this.